Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Cook with Cook DFW Roofing, and we are here to share some home healthy recipes with you. And today we're going to talk on the topic of uh, home insurance and claims and what that means to you. There's a lot of times that people are new homeowners. They go through an event at their home and they have no idea what to do. It's a scary time. Weather events or having water leaking at your house or having a lot of wind damage, things that are very common here in North Texas and in Texas in general. And so we're going to talk about those items today and how to simplify it and hopefully give you some education that you can use if that happens to you and you have to deal with those kind of items. So we are here on Lyndon Wilson's broadcast, The Difference. And Lyndon's here in the studio with us today, so I'm going to bring Lyndon on here real quick.
Good morning, Daniel.
Hey, good morning, Lyndon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about the topic because nothing frustrates me more than insurance from A to Z, pretty much. I had a conversation the other day with an insurance person, and I'm like, it's just overcomplicated. It's unnecessarily overcomplicated. And I mean, I believe that there's a reason behind that, because if I don't really understand it, then in some instances you can be taken advantage of, right?
Absolutely.
And so what I love about this show and what I really respect and appreciate about you is the fact that you will basically peel the layers of the onion back and help people understand, how the insurance should work for them.
Right.
And because, Daniel, you're more than just a roofing guy. I mean, you're an advocate for the homeowner, that you go in looking to save them money. And in order to do that, they've got to have the right insurance claim. Am I pretty on target there?
It's pretty close. It's not exactly in the red, but you're in that green area of the bullseye. So we have to all remember, though, we all need insurance, okay? Unless you're in the 1 percentile of the American public, which is self-insured. And even those billionaires, they have some type of insurance. So insurance is a needed commodity. The insurance industry has changed tremendously over the years, though. It is a billion-dollar business. And the reason why it's a billion-dollar business is because they have a lot of very, very smart people running numbers, statistics, complicated factors, knowing scientists. They even have scientists on in their payrolls, thinking about what is the likelihood of this event happening in this area of the country versus over here. All kinds of items they look at. So we all need insurance. It is a business that is run by very smart people, though. And as a homeowner or as a car, insurance needer, or, life insurance, medical insurance, all those insurances are needed. It's just you have to be very educated and ask the right questions and get different opinions when you're shopping for insurance. There are so many different items that come up in insurance, and I don't even know all of them. I'm not in insurance. I just work with a lot of insurance companies and dealing with claims, and so it has given me a different side of what the claim should look like, and different policies and declarations and all those other things that they have. So unfortunately, though, we all need it, though, Lyndon. I mean,
we do, but we also have to remember that they are a for-profit business, right?
Absolutely.
All their calculations are done to help their clients, but also make a profit at the same time. And so I think that it's important for us to understand that and to not just take everything at face value, and to find some people that have more knowledge about not just the process, but have some experience in it. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, if you're talking about your roof insurance, you need to really, I would recommend talking to a roofer before you even go down that route and try to figure out, you know, for instance, I'm sure you know some of the best insurance companies to work with, some of the most consumer friendly, I would say.
Yeah,
If that's even a possible, I know that there's going to be some that are more consumer friendly than others, but I think that that's something that we as consumers need to start to understand, whether it's roofing, whether it's any car, whether it's anything, is we need to talk to the people that have those experience and those interactions daily, because they can give us a lot of insight.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things about insurance that people need to understand. I mean, these large companies are large because they have a lot of policies. And when you write a lot of policies, it gives you a lot of income. And so, and, you know, they're paying for, you know, Super Bowl commercials, or football season commercials, and they got these big actors and sports agents on there. Those guys aren't coming on for free for them. I mean, they're paying them a lot of money to advertise. And so, you know, that's the first thing you got to think about. If they have that much money to advertise, they obviously have some really, really big, you know, profits coming in the door. But on the flip side of that, though, I always caution everybody from getting insurance from 1-800 numbers or online, or even, you know, signing up through different systems and everything like that. I think the most important thing is to have somebody local that you can walk into their office and talk to them face to face about your situation. I can't tell you how many people that I've done claims with in the past, and they said, well, when we got our house, the title person just signed us up for this insurance. We don't even know what it is. And it's a company out of Florida, Ohio, Idaho. And it's just like they can write a policy in Texas, and they wrote it really cheap, and it got them to the number they needed, so they qualified for their house. So
Right.
that happens a lot. And then they keep it because you don't think about it, right? You say, well, I already got home insurance. And they just let it renew. And let's say year 3 rolls around. You've had your home now for 3 years, and unfortunately you have a catastrophic hail event, and it destroys your property. Well, you call up and you find out your house was bought at $280,000, and now you've had it for 3 years, and your insurance is only, I don't know, $1,200, which is really good for $280,000 house. $1,200 a year for insurance. Wow, that's fantastic. Why am I going to look anywhere else? Well, you have that catastrophic hail event, and you find out, oh, what is my deductible? Oh, it's a 3% deductible. Oh, so I'm going to be paying $7,000 out of pocket for my roof and for my property. That's why your rates are $1,200 a year. So it's never going to fail. This saying is never going to go away. Pay me now, pay me later, but you're still going to pay. It's not like you're going to get this incredible deal that no one else knows about, and you're the only one. Because on the flip side of that coin, let's say you have an insurance that is fair market value for a $300,000 house, and your premiums are at $2,500 a year. So yeah, you're going to be paying double, but instead of when that hail event occurs in 3 years, your deductible now is only going to be $3,000. So you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later at the time of the event, but either way, it's going to come out to be about the same. And that's the statistics on the insurance side. If they give you a high deductible, they make you pay less because they're saying, okay, well, we have less risk involved, right? And that's what insurance is. It weighs the risk level. And if you pay less, you better save that money because the likelihood of you needing it when a claim does come is going to be very high. And so that's how that all works. And that's why people need to educate themselves on insurance.
Exactly. You know, like you said, though, the bottom line is you're going to pay what you're going to pay. You're either going to pay it up front or you're going to pay it at the time that you need it. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty much going to be the same that comes from you, I would say, because that's how it's already calculated. They just allow, one looks more attractive at the beginning than having, like you said. And here's the other thing. Let's say you're paying a $1,200 a month premium and you pay that for 5 years and nothing happens, right? And you pay in a $1,200 a month premium and your deductible, say, is $5,000, and something happens in 5 years, you're still paying a $5,000 deductible.
Right.
even though you've paid all of that money in that has never been used on your premium up until that point.
Mhm.
That's the kind of, I hate to say the word crappy, but that's where you kind of get into trouble because you don't take that into account. You're not getting credit for those premiums. You're still going to pay the deductible.
Right. Yeah, the deductible, unfortunately, is going to be a kind of a parachute for insurance companies. They're saying that, the average claim, and they know what these numbers are. All of the insurance companies know that on your home, the average claim is going to be $25,000. They know these numbers. It's not like it's a secret. So if they say, okay, that average claim is $25,000, we're going to put a $5,000 deductible. That leaves us at an 80% coverage. The likelihood of you having a claim is going to be about every 5.6 years. So at 5.6 years, your insurance is going to cost you $3,000. So by the time you have a claim, you basically are insured yourself already. So because you're going to pay him $15,000, you got a $5,000 deductible. Your average claim is $25,000. The insurance is going to be out $5,000 in here. Now the flip side of that coin is there are rarities. I have personally seen homes have new roofs put on 2 years in a row. So now the insurance company is way upside down.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that it happened. Nobody wants to deal with an insurance claim year and year. Okay, that's incredibly unlucky. And it doesn't happen very often, but there are hard cases where I've seen a customer have a $30,000 claim, turn back around the next year and have another $30,000 claim. Now, unfortunately, that insurance company is way upside down on your personal claim. But the likelihood of that happening is super low. So it goes both ways.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's say that happens. Of course, in Texas with the hailstorms, they can happen at any moment. I think a few years ago, we had a hailstorm around Christmas time. I think that's when the tornadoes and everything went through, Rowlett and everything.
Yep.
Let's say that were to happen. Let's say that I think Wiley, if there's a hailstorm in Texas, it's going to hit Wiley. That's where I live. Wiley just seems to be, for some reason, right in the middle of Hailstorm Alley. But let's say that you had maybe 2 hailstorms in a year. You probably wouldn't fix your roof twice in a year. But let's say that what you just said is true. You had to replace your roof 2 times in 2 years. What are the likelihood, number one, that your rates will go up, and number 2, that you could even get dropped from that insurance policy?
Okay, so in the state of Texas, the way they write it to protect the homeowners is that weather-related claims are excluded from premium increases. And the reason they do that is because they know that if they allowed insurance companies, all of them, and they all have to report to TDI, Texas Department of Insurance, if they just got to merely raise the rates every time a weather event occurred, our rates would be unbearable. We wouldn't be able to afford home insurance. So the state of Texas has to step in. The state of Texas has to step in and say, okay, everybody, if you're going to raise your rates more than, I don't know what that number is. I was told once, it's like 2%, 2.5%, something. You have to get a special exclusion from the state of Texas in order to raise your rates more than a certain level. Now, a lot of times that's another misconception is people won't file a claim after a hail event or after some type of weather event because they don't want their premiums to go up. I can't tell you how many homeowners tell me that. If we don't have any major leaks, if you don't think we really need the roof, I think I'm going to wait. And I say, okay, well, if you wait, you're basically saying I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to wait. And if something does happen down the road, let's say in a year from now, you do develop a leak. Well, by the way your declarations are written, majority of the time, you have 1 year from the time of an actual event to file a claim. If you don't do it within that time frame, the insurance company can turn you down. They can say that that's outside of your, ability of turning a claim, and they can decline the claim on that. Now, on another side, let's say you're saying, well, if it's not that bad now, I'll just wait for the next storm. I hear that a lot too. I'll just wait for the next one because we're always going to have another one, right? Well, I live in Melissa. We had a pretty good storm in 17, and since then we haven't had very many storms. So let's say you had that storm in 17. You said, no, I'm not going to file. I'll wait till next year. Well, next year came and went. We didn't have a really big storm. 19 came and went. We didn't have a really big storm. Now, 20, you develop a leak. Well, now you're going to call your insurance up, and they're going to say, yeah, you got a whole bunch of weather damage up here. That's probably what caused the leak, but unfortunately, we haven't had any kind of storms around here. So I can't cover the leak because there's nothing that's caused the leak other than wear and tear. And that's a very common thing sometimes that you'll hear is wear and tear. Well, if my shingles were designed for 30 years, why are they only failing at year 7? Well, it's because of how much heat and how much, coldness and the hail and everything that deteriorates our shingles. And a lot of people, they wait until something happens, unfortunately, and they're outside of that ballpark. I just had a claim. We're not going to name any insurance companies here because all insurance companies are fair to a point. But they went out to a property. The roof was 12 years old. It was a 30-year shingle. The homeowner could not understand why the insurance company was telling him that the roof was not going to be replaced on the insurance because it was wear and tear. What that merely means is basically that the roof has had a lot of items occurring to it and has caused the shingles to wear out prematurely in a 30-year context, but not in an ability of saying that the shingle is not working still. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like,
Yeah.
so a shingle loses a lot of asphalt, and that's the number one thing that happens to a shingle. It degrades and loses the ability of shedding water. In our terminology, that's what a shingle does. It sheds water. When you lose the granulars and it starts to get down to the fiberglass and the matting, it's losing its water shedding ability. But if you wait and you don't get your roof inspected annually, which is the number one thing all people should do, they need to have their homes inspected once a year. Regardless if they have a weather event or not, everybody's roof should be inspected once a year. Because if, as a roofer, I jump up there and I notice that you're losing a lot of granulars, you're having a lot of issues with your roofing starting to degrade, I'm going to let you know that up front. Because you may not know you had damage. Maybe you were at work one day, you had a major hail and windstorm go through your roof, you're in downtown Dallas at work, you come back, everything looks okay, there's no leaks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, a year from now, you start having issues. Well, we could already told you had some damage prior to it happening. But wear and tear, back to wear and tear, that's a very, very, that's a tough decision. It's based on the perception of the adjuster when he gets on your roof. That's
Right.
the first thing you need to understand. This is a perception-based business, and it's whoever comes out to your house, what time they come out, how they're feeling. Do they have too many inspections that day? Because sometimes when you get in those catastrophic events, those guys are jumping up on 12, 13, 15 roofs a day.
Right.
So do you think they're going to, and I hate saying this, they're so overworked. The insurance business is just like everybody else in the world right now. Everybody's understaffed, right? Everybody's looking for employees. Insurance business is no different. They don't have this golden employment standard. They are severely understaffed. I've talked to desk adjusters, I've talked to managers, I've talked to field agents. Everybody knows they're understaffed. And so back to my point is that when they come out to your house, they've literally got about 35 to 45 minutes to assess your house. And if they jump up on the roof and they don't see any damage right away, it's wear and tear, there's nothing there. And so that happens quite often. And, that's why you have to have a contractor on something. And people that go through these insurance claims without contractors, that's going to be a problem, because unfortunately a contractor should be your advocate. They should be there to help you because you do what you do. If you're a doctor, you don't know nothing about construction. If you're a teacher, you don't know nothing about construction. If you're, whatever you do, if you're an accountant, you don't know anything about construction, and you shouldn't have to. That's why you should have somebody out there on your side fighting for you. The way the laws are written is that you can have an advocate. It's your right to have a contractor present. And when you do, that definitely is going to benefit you as the policyholder and as the homeowner. It kind of levels the field a little bit. It pulls everybody in perspective. Just like in healthcare. What do they say? You're your best advocate, right? You need to fight for how you feel, how your body feels. And when a doctor doesn't listen to you or the nurse doesn't listen to you, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to speak up. Well, home insurance is the same thing. You need to have an advocate because maybe you don't know what a roof is consistent of. Maybe you don't know what flashing needs to be replaced. Maybe you don't understand what damage does. Maybe you don't know that, if you get windows beat up and the beading gets tore up, that you can get your windows replaced. Maybe you didn't know that, your gutters can get replaced when you have some dents on those, even though they function, but they're dented. Maybe you didn't know that your chimney cricket is going to have to be replaced because when you fall off the shingles, it's going to damage some of that cricket and those flashings and it has to be replaced.
Right.
Maybe you didn't know that when your fence gets hit with hail, that if it knocks out chunks of the wood with large enough hail, you actually get your fence replaced.
That's one of the things I was going to ask you about because I've seen that. I did not know that till a few years ago, but I had a buddy of mine that got his fence replaced, and his fence wasn't the greatest I mean, it'd been there a year or two,
Yeah.
but the damage was severe. I mean, it knocked actually holes in it.
Correct.
And the insurance came in and replaced the fence.
Right.
Good as new.
There's so many things. So many things. Like, did you know that your barbecue grill, if it's out there and it gets dented, you get a brand new grill?
Did not know that.
Yeah. It's called a property claim, not a home claim. It's called a property claim. And that's what the difference is also. A lot of people don't understand what's covered and what's not covered. So it goes both sides. But let's say you have a great homeowner's policy. It's your property all the way around your plot line. So everything that gets damaged within your property is covered with a weather-related event. So if you have one of those massive, thunderstorms and hails and winds, I mean, your roof, or your gutters, your windows, your fence, all your personal property, your old landscaping lights, if they get broken, they get covered. Trampolines. I've seen trampolines get damaged. Mm-hmm. I've seen those little playgrounds for the little kids in the backyards. The canopies get blown through, or the wood gets knocked up real bad. All that stuff's covered with a home claim. So that's something that a lot of people don't understand. It's not just what happens to your house; it's the full thing. And that's why you have to have a contractor out there that knows how to deal with those kind of things. And when I say that, I mean that. When I say a contractor, I said that very loosely, and I should. There's a humongous difference between contractors. Okay, there are true roofers. A roofer does the roof. If anything else is on your claim, he basically says, I don't do any of that, but I'll do your roof. Okay? So what that means to you is that as the homeowner, you're going to have to go find somebody to do your gutters. You're going to have to find somebody to do your fence. You're going to have to find somebody then to go do whatever else, windows, screens. So that puts you as what we call a GC. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's also roofing companies out there that want the low-hanging fruit. They do roofs and gutters, and that's it. Then there's roofing companies out there that do, we do fences, gutters, screens, and roofs. Okay, well, that's good. What about windows? No, we don't do windows. We don't know anybody who does windows. Okay, so then that puts you back. So there's a big difference. So you need to know what kind of guy or company you're using. Are they going to be able to take your claim from start to finish, and you don't have to lift a finger? Because that's very important.
Daniel, let's talk real quick, and I don't want to get too far off track. We don't have a lot of time, but you just made me think of something, and this is it's not unique to the roofing industry, but I do know that when hailstorms happen, and a lot of times people that have worked on a roof, that have put shingles on, maybe put some metal roofing on, they can put a straight chalk line and they know where to buy shingles. All of a sudden they slap a magnetic sticker on their vehicle and they run around to the neighborhoods knocking on the doors telling everybody they can replace their roof because they know that's where the hail hit, right? That would not be a good source for helping you understand the insurance claim and how, because that's probably not, they may have experience, like I said, of running that first chalk line and getting those shingles lined up and going to the top. But they don't understand how to get it paid for, how it should be paid for. I mean, am I fair in saying that? Is that kind of a big distinction that people need to understand?
Well, there's so much, and we don't have enough time to really go down this path. This would be a great another subject about how a claim actually works. But so if a homeowner gets a claim, let's say they come out, they say, yeah, you have your needs are a roof and gutters and blah, blah, blah. They write you the first check. Let's say they give you a check for $20,000. And then they say, yeah, once you get the repairs done, let us know. You have this portion called depreciation. We're holding it back. Once you get everything done, just let us know, and we're going to release this other $7,000 back to you. And then you have ABC roofer come by and say, oh, your roof, like you just said, I can get your roof done. I'll charge you $15,000. Well, homeowner's thinking in the back of their mind, right? What's the homeowner thinking?
I got some extra money.
Oh, shit. I just made $5,000. Oh, and actually I got 7,500 more. I'm going to make $12,000 and I'm going to get my roof replaced. What the homeowner doesn't understand is that it's called RCV, replacement cost value. And if an insurance company submits an estimate to you, and they hold back, like I said, 7,500. If you can't present them with a trade invoice from a reputable company showing that those repairs have been made and they charged you what the insurance said, you won't get any of that money back. That $7,500 is gone in the wind. Right. They're going to reenact their statement and basically put it up to the whatever you turn into them. I've seen this happen so many times, and people get so upset because they're like, what do you mean I can't get it? I got the roof replaced. What's the difference? If I paid less, why should I not get the money? And the insurance company said, well, it's this little thing called cost incurrence. It's what the cost was incurred by you is what we owe you. You can't make money. Right. That's not how the policy is written. If you have an event, you can't make money. But a lot of people don't understand that. So if you get that roofer to put your roof on, that a first amount is called ACV, actual cash value. By law, you can do anything you want with that money. So if you want to take that 20 grand and go to Fiji for the 2 weeks with your beautiful bride and have a wonderful time, the insurance company can't say anything to you about that. But the backside of that is that home will never be covered again for anything that they paid you for. So if you don't get your roof done, if you don't get the gutters, if you don't get the screens, the fence done, that's never going to be a covered item. And then on top of that, if you don't prove to the insurance company you had repairs done, then they can drop you from coverage because now you are basically not holding up your end of the bargain when you sign up for insurance, which states, I will put every effort I can to protect the property because you're helping me protect it by covering me if something happens.
Wow.
So
that's good stuff. So we'll have to come back and talk about that because I know that there's a lot of people. I hear that all the time. Oh, I got a $20,000 check and I found a roofer to do it for 12, and I'm going to pocket some money. And nothing's free. If we hadn't figured that out yet in this lifetime, then we're kind of fooling ourselves. But it's kind of like what I was saying. Excuse me. What I was saying is that I know that I know some other guys that are really good. When they come out, if that adjuster comes out and he comes in low on really what the claim should be, and those roofers, those contractors understand that, many times they will help that homeowner fight that claim and get the fair value for it. And so I don't think that those guys slapping on a magnetic sticker and running through the neighborhood just because they know how to buy roofing nails and roofing supplies and put a roof on. I'm not sure that they're really going to understand. As long as they're getting their check, I don't think they care whether you got the right insurance claim or not.
No, I mean, that's unfortunate too, because at the end of the day, the person that's affected by all this is the actual homeowner. Mm-hmm. So they think at the beginning that they're going to be saving money or making money, and they actually are going to be spending more money. We've had that happen so many times, and it's sad. And I kind of feel for some of the homeowners, but then in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, they kind of put themselves in this position because they thought they were going to be making money. So the money they thought they were going to be making, they're going to be spending next year when the roof starts leaking. Because when they go call ABC Roofer, well, ABC Roofer's phone's disconnected. Mm-hmm. he's already in the next place that the next storm's already been in, and they got this leak pouring down in their house. And these are true stories. I could go on list. I could list 100 homes right now that we've gone out to after some other roofing company or roofer has put a roof on, and that now they have $2,000 or $3,000 worth of inside damage to the house because they saved $1,500 on the roof. So, but to back up your initial item was when a company comes out and does an initial assessment on your property, there are several things that cannot be accessed until during the construction project, and those are called supplement items. And if you don't have somebody that understands insurance and able to do those supplements, you will get taken advantage of, because most contractors, or let's say roofers, if they say I didn't get paid for something or I don't need to do that, then it won't get done. But there's cases where we pull off shingles and we notice that there's 2 or 3 layers of underlayment, or there's areas that have bad decking. When I say bad decking, decking that's had received water damage over time and it's caused it to get holes inside, which is very common. And some roofers will just put some kind of a membrane over it and just call it a day and put shingles back over it. While we will cut that piece of decking out of your roof and put all new decking back down. So there's so many things that unfortunately homeowners don't know what happens during the construction process. So that brings up a perfect point. Make sure they have insurance knowledge and training and know how to get your roof replaced the proper way to protect your home long term, not just for the next year or two.
Yep. Well, Daniel, we're out of time for today. I'm scrolling at the bottom. I haven't checked this with you yet, but I've got Simplifying Insurance Claims Part 2 coming.
Yeah,
because I think that this is something that we can bring into the next show and dig deeper into this, because it is something that every homeowner needs to understand a little bit more. And I think that we get so overwhelmed with insurance talk because we think it's more complicated than it should be. And we got to have somebody that's working for us that we can trust, that's going to fight for us. And I know that you and DFW Roofing does that. So we're going to wrap up for today. I want you to have the last word. Tell anybody anything that you want them to know, maybe about the next show. I'm going to run your contact information at the bottom, and then we'll close out, and we'll see everybody again next week.
All right. Thanks, Lenny. Well, yeah, if anybody has any questions on your home or possible insurance claims, if you have not had your roof inspected within the last year, let's give us a call. We come out. There's no hassle. It's a complimentary service. We just want to make sure your home's protected. You give us a call, email us, whatever's convenient for you. You don't actually even have to be home. Everything we do is on the outside unless you have inside damage. But we can do a perimeter and exterior inspection, make sure your home is safe and secure. And we will talk about more of this and kind of dive into some more of the items a part of an insurance claim on the next episode. And hopefully we can give you some education that you can use in the future. Thank you all very much, and we'll see y'all next time.